Good morning, everyone. Amazon. Flash briefing. You get a flash briefing today? Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, here's your flash briefing.
Okay.
From NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Korva Coleman. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov briefly talked one-on-one today during a meeting of G20 foreign ministers in India. This is the first such face-to-face meeting between Blinken and Lavrov since the war in Ukraine began more than a year ago.
I remember Blinken. He's on Loud House,
Kumar
right?
has more from Bangalore.
As expected, the G20 foreign ministers meeting was dominated by issues around Russia's war against Ukraine. Until today, Secretary of State Blinken and Russia's Foreign Minister Lavrov had only spoken on the phone once since Russian forces invaded Ukraine. Blinken reportedly told Lavrov the US would support Ukraine in its defense against Russia and sought the release of imprisoned US citizen Paul Whelan. Blinken also asked Russia to rejoin the new START nuclear arms control treaty. For NPR News, I'm Raksha Kumar in Bangalore.
Next week, the CEO of Railroad Norfolk Southern is scheduled to testify to a Senate committee about last month's fiery freight train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. As NPR's Windsor Johnston tells us, lawmakers have questions about safety, cleanup, and preventing future derailments.
The CEO of Norfolk Southern is likely to face a barrage of questions about what went wrong and whether the company has been investing enough in safety protocols. In a statement to NPR, the company said the rail industry needs to learn as much as it can from East Palestine, as can the owners of the rail cars. In the meantime, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is proposing new legislation that includes new requirements for trains carrying hazardous materials.
NPR's Windsor Johnston prepared that report. Meanwhile, officials in East Palestine will hold a town hall meeting tonight. Norfolk Southern Railroad officials have been instructed to attend. Stocks opened mixed this morning amid fresh evidence of a tight job market. NPR Scott Horsley reports the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about 100 points in early trading.
New claims for unemployment benefits dipped again last week, suggesting that despite some high-profile job cuts, layoffs remain rare. The unemployment rate fell to its lowest level in more than half a century in January. We'll get an update on the February jobless rate next week. Stock in Macy's got a bounce this morning after the department store chain reported better than expected results for its Christmas quarter. Macy's says it's unloaded most of its excess inventory and plans to limit discounts this year in an effort to protect its profit margins. European inflation eased a bit last month, but the cost of services in the Eurozone continues to climb. As a result, the European Central Bank, like the Federal Reserve, is expected to keep raising interest rates. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow is now up 94 points. The Nasdaq is down more than 45 points.
Stop raising interest rates.
This is NPR.
That hurts our countries.
The head of the UN's nuclear watchdog agency is going to travel to Iran for high-level meetings. The International Atomic Energy Agency says Rafael Mariano Grossi is traveling to Tehran at the invitation of the Iranian government. Iran is accused of enriching uranium at its plants that could be weapons-grade level. The Iranian government frequently denies that, but Western nations are pressing Iran to be more transparent. A crew of 4 is on its way to the International Space Station after launching from Florida early this morning. From member station WMFE in Orlando, Brendan Byrne reports.
The 9 engines of SpaceX's Falcon rocket roared to life, lighting up the Florida sky and launching the multinational crew on a 25-hour trip to the ISS. An attempt to launch this mission earlier this week was waved off when mission managers discovered an issue with the rocket's ignition system. That problem was resolved and the crew successfully blasted off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Once at the station, the members of the Crew 6 mission, 2 NASA astronauts, a Russian cosmonaut, and an astronaut from the United Arab Emirates will spend up to 6 months on the ISS conducting research and experiments. They'll relieve the 4 people of the Crew 5 mission, which arrived last October. That team is set to return to Earth in about a week. For NPR News, I'm Brendan Byrne in Orlando.
Forecasters say parts of the South will get very stormy weather today. The National Weather Service says Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana could get excessive rainfall and maybe some strong tornadoes. In the West, California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared emergencies in 13 counties because of recent winter storms. Very heavy snow is falling. I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News in Washington.
What's happening on NPR Podcasts? More neighborhoods.
Amazon.
More identity.
Skip.
In NASA news, crew members assigned to NASA's SpaceX Crew 6 mission are in orbit following their successful launch to the International Space Station at 12:34 a.m. EST Thursday from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The international crew are the agency's 6th commercial crew rotation mission with SpaceX aboard the orbital laboratory. NASA has awarded the Systems Engineering Advanced Services (SCAS2) contract to Macaulay Associates Incorporated of Bellevue, Nebraska. NASA and SpaceX are targeting no earlier than 12:34 a.m. EST Thursday, March 2nd, to launch the Crew 6 mission to the International Space Station. Liftoff of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon spacecraft will be from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. NASA has awarded a contract to Analytical Mechanics Associates of Hampton, Virginia for services to support NASA Langley Research Center's Research, Engineering, and Science Services, RSES. NASA's SpaceX Crew 5 will answer media questions at 12:30 p.m. EST Wednesday, March 1st, about their time aboard the International Space Station. The event takes place prior to their return to Earth later this month. In weather. Currently, in Seattle, it's 37 degrees Fahrenheit with showers. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 46 degrees and a low of 36
Well, that
degrees.
sounds lovely. All
From
right.
NASA.
Amazon.
Crew.
Off. Amazon. Tell us a joke.
What happens to candy bars when they expire? They go to the sweet hereafter.
Well. All right then. Everybody have you a sweet thereafter.